My name is Ashley Ray, and I'm going to be talking to you today about Apply Missouri. I have been using the Journey to College programs for several years, and Apply Missouri is one of my favorites, and it's one of the most easiest ones to do at your school. So let's take a look at some different things that you might consider. So definitely want to utilize those free resources from Journey to College. They have so many different options just listed right there for you, whether it's promotional materials that you can use to hand out to your students, or there might be college trivia questions from different colleges in Missouri that you can utilize to help kick off if you have a week-long activities or different things like that. And then of course they have forms, sign-in sheets, things like that for you to use at your actual event, games, surveys, and then so much more. So definitely want to utilize those free resources that are available to you, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel when they have it for you. So another thing that we consider is pairing the event with other things that we have going on centered around our seniors and the financial aid and college process. That way they're hearing the information multiple times and in multiple different settings. Because despite our best efforts, we know they don't always hear the information correctly or exactly the first time. So we definitely try to present it in as many ways as we possibly can. So we like to center ours around, our senior meeting. You might consider a financial aid presentation, or if you have college fairs going on, consider the timing of where you want to place that event to where it makes the most sense for your school. The other thing that we like to look at is partnering with teachers and staff, because they are very helpful in the whole Journey to College process. As much as we like to get into the classrooms and have individual and group meetings with them, they're with them every single day. So anytime you can partner with them as a resource, that is a great option. So one thing can be, having them promote their alma mater, where they went to college, either with some signage in their classroom, maybe what school they went to, or even pennants and decor that they might have, or ever favorite, to beg administration for a jeans day where we can wear our college gear. It just, anytime you can do that, it helps promote that conversation about how they made the decision to go where they went to, or the college choice or choices for some of us, and just that journey that they took, to get where they wanted to get. So whatever you do, you want to make sure that you promote. You just can't announce it enough. You can't remind them enough. Our kids are sort of on the go all the time, and they don't always, jot down when things are going to happen. So anytime you can remind them with announcements, emails, text, social media blasts, whatever platforms you guys use, you definitely want to get the information out, make sure they know what date you're going to be doing your event and what that is going to look like. And then even on the day of the event, it always amazes us how many kids will say, I didn't know you guys were doing this, but we will be out in the hallway during our event trying to promote what's going on and trying to pull kids in and get them into, into the classroom that we are in for the day. So those are some things to, just some best practices and tips to consider when, picking your event. So we're going to take a look at what our actual event looks like at OHS. So our event takes place in mid-October. So at this time, we've already had typically our senior class meeting, and then we've had our financial aid presentation, and then we have usually already had our college fair. We are lucky enough to host a college fair and we invite all the other schools in our county to attend. So this is a great way to help them actually do those applications for those colleges. So for the whole day, myself and our other counselor, Mrs. Twombly, we set up in a computer lab all day long. So we are there the whole day from first period all the way to the end. And students are encouraged to come to the lab at any point in the day that works best for them. So we also kind of pair this up with our English teachers. We really work closely with them to make sure that it's kind of a work day in their classroom, so that if the kids may, not come in another hour, they can at least have an opportunity to come in during their senior English class. So So we work really well with them, and it happens to be their classrooms are right across the hall from the library computer lab. So it actually works out pretty well. So while the students are with us, they can get help researching for colleges, technical programs, filling out applications for any of those. We also will have them do scholarship searches, both nationally and then also locally. We'll show them where to access our local information. And then we'll also work with them to help set up their FSA ID. We can kind of show them how to begin their FAFSA process, but we don't really go much beyond the FSA ID creation because we also host a FAFSA Frenzy event. And so we really want to encourage them to come to that event to get assistance with that process. But we will help them and get them started. So the other things our kids will usually do is register for the ACT. So something we figured out is you want to make sure that you have those ACT fee waivers close by because the lab that we're in is pretty far away from our office, so you don't want to be running back and forth there all day. So we do try to bring as much stuff with us as we possibly can. So other activities, once kids have kind of done, one or two of those things, or they're still not sure where to even begin, we also have them hop on Missouri Connections and kind of do some, any remaining activities that they might have in there, or just, searching for colleges, majors, things like that. So while the kids are with us, they do have to be actively working on one or more of those activities. Mrs. Twombly and I are in there just to assist them. Some kids you'll find will need a lot of help, and some kids know what they're doing. They just need time devoted to doing such activities. So as far as rewards for our kids for attending, they love free stuff. So anything that you can snag. So that's why I love Apply Missouri, because it really doesn't cost anything. So we order the promotional materials from Journey to College. So whatever that may be, whether it's stickers or pens or highlighters or, glasses wipes or whatever, the kids love that stuff. We also use this as a time to hand out all of the college and military swag that we've accumulated, either even from the previous year, or we've usually just gotten back from our CUBE conference, or, like I said, had our own college fair. So we've had lots of lanyards and cups and stuff that we don't even know what it actually is. But we've set all of that stuff out on a table. And so part of the reward of the kids coming in and working with us is they get to pick from the table and take whatever it is they want. So that is also a great way to encourage other kids to come in, because they'll see their friends in the hallway and they'll have some new lanyard or a new pop socket or whatever, and they'll want one. So they'll kind of poke their head in later and say, hey, where do I get one of those? And we'll kind of snag them and say, well, come on in, sit down with us, and let's do an application or two, and then you can have that lanyard. So but that is what our event looks like. And here is a lovely picture of our kiddos who showing you that they do love that free stuff. So Keaton there is holding the college portfolio from Journey to College that we had. So that is a great thing for them to keep all of their stuff in. But our kids love to just pennants, pens, anything that they can get. So let's kind of talk about what Apply Missouri may look like this year, because there are some differences. So obviously the current pandemic poses some potential challenges to what our event has normally looked like in the past. So it may look a little bit different depending upon what our school district or what your school district decides its school year is going to look like. So whether schools are in session or virtual, I think a combination of both, we are sure that there are definitely some adjustments that'll have to be made. So if we do happen to be in session, or we are allowed to have events like this at school, things that we will want to consider will be capacity limits. How many kids can we have in the room? Do we need to have more than one space so that people can be spread out? So if we have more space, that may require having additional staff to help us. We are fortunate that we also, along with having 2 counselors, we have a school social worker who is always willing to help us anytime and would definitely be able to do that. So we may have to do some things like that to have an in-person event. So if we aren't in session, so another possible option would be to host a virtual event. I envision that these would take place over multiple days and times to probably work with the student schedules. Um, I would envision using the whatever platform you use for your Google Meets or Zoom or WebEx, whatever your school district has been using. You would want to use something that is familiar to the students, so it would be easy for them to access. But I would think we would make maybe some small videos showing the different pieces, going over ACT registration. And there probably are ones that already exist too that we could find, so you wouldn't have to completely recreate them. But doing a college application, doing the college search. So potentially maybe some smaller videos that the kids could watch that you could share out, either your Google Classroom or whatever you use. And then follow that with actual Google Meets or Zoom meetings, virtual meetings where the kids could actually join in, where we could offer maybe some individual assistance or even small group assistance. That will be, we'll just want to make sure that we're able to answer those questions for those kids. Another thing to think about if we're using virtual events is that they're going to need to have the information that they need in order to fill out their application. So making sure the kids have their GPAs, their class ranks, their ACT scores, because that's a lot of the information that we provide to them during that Apply Missouri event while they're trying to fill stuff out. So, but there are lots of things to consider going forward with planning the events for the 2021 school year. It may look the same or it may look completely different. I hope this presentation has given you some ideas on how you can make Apply Missouri work for your setting. If you need any help or have any questions, I am happy to help. Don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. Thank you.